Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be playing in one of my favorite tank destroyers of all time, the WZ-111 GFT. Contrary to the public's opinion on the Chinese tank destroyer line, having it the least ground vehicle in Tier 10, and this the least played Tier 9 tank destroyer, in my personal opinion, I think the public opinion is way wrong about judging these vehicles on the ways they look, and just reading them on paper, because this tank here is possibly the strongest Tier 9 tank destroyer in the game, and probably one of the strongest tank destroyers tier for tier in general. Now, what makes this vehicle so strong? Well, first of all, it literally is strong. If you look at the armor, sure, while an M60 aiming at it might not seem that impressive with heat, APCR, this is what standard ammo for tier 10s look like when they're aiming at this vehicle. The frontal armor is 260 thick. That is impressively strong for a tier 9 vehicle. If you're using 6 degrees of gun depression and angling it, yeah, 280 millimeters thick, sure. While heat shells will butter through this vehicle, it does have very thick frontal armor. And, well, judging that it's a tier 9, you also play tier 8. And a tier 8 loading premium, yeah, good luck penetrating through that. This is an incredibly strong vehicle on the armor, and what that means is you can really get away with some super deadly maneuvers. Not to mention, this is the only Tier 9 tank destroyer in World of Tanks Blitz to carry a Tier 10 tank destroyer gun. Now, yes, I know that every Tier 9 TD does technically have the little X logo on the gun, making it a Tier 10 gun. This is more on the aspect of the penetration values on this gun for the standard and premium are the highest of its class. The premium at 413 millimeters is exactly the same as the WZ-113's penetration. There is no other tank destroyer you can find that carries those types of values. If you make your way over to the American TDs, being the T30 and the T95, they're impressive. 336 millimeters of premium pen is quite good. Same for the T30 at as well, 336. You make your way over to Russia and you look at the Object 704. This vehicle, 345, or even the SU-122 at 374. Sure, they are very impressive, but none of them come close to the 300, not even 300, the 413 millimeters of premium pen this vehicle carries. Now, you might be saying that, Droodles, why are you running calibrated on this vehicle? Isn't that a bit overkill? Well, yeah, it is quite overkill, but this gun with calibrated literally turns any armor into butter. And when you're playing up against tier 8, you can literally go through gun mantlets like they are cheese. Not to mention, it's quite accurate. I actually run refined gun on this vehicle because it's got some of the best on-movement dispersion values in class. So if you put on refined gun, and with the good aiming time of 4.2 seconds, it's actually quite an accurate vehicle. You'll notice that when I'm playing in the vehicle in just a moment. The big downside of this vehicle, because you might be thinking, well, it's got good armor, and in fact it also has very good mobility. While it only goes 36 kilometers per hour forward, it almost always stays at that speed with an average speed of 28. So very mobile as well. Its traverse speed isn't bad at 35 degrees a second. So, as I said, there's always a downside to every vehicle, and this one, well, it's damage per minute. If we compare the 2,356 DPM on this vehicle to the Object 704's 3,028, that is a 700 difference. Yeah, that is the big killer of the WZ-111, is the fact that you literally just have bad DPM and you struggle to get out the damage. But the thing about this tank is, alright, it carries a tier 10 tank destroyer gun. It's got similar armor to vehicles like an Object 268 and the WZ-113 GFT. And it's got decent enough mobility to do the job. So if it plays exactly like a tier 10 tank destroyer, but it's placed at tier 9 and the only downside is worse DPM, oh man, is this one unforgiving tank if you make the wrong move and poke this thing. Sometimes you'll poke a TD and you'll be like, okay, I might bounce it. Yeah, this tank, you're not bouncing it. If anybody knows how to run this thing, they are going literally through your armor like it's the easiest thing in the planet. So here we go. What do we have up against us? E75, heat through his upper plate, no problem. IS-8, don't even need premium for that. T30, yeah, these are no problems whatsoever. And in this position I'm currently at, I don't even need to worry about being hit. Now, we might be penned by this IS-8, but, well, aiming, and boom, there you go. Nice tap into him, and Yep, there goes 614 health off the IS-8s. Now, I have put on my adrenaline to see, just in case he's not the biggest of brain players, if he'll wait there. So we're going to find out in just a moment. Oh, there's an E-75. Let's get a shell into him. Boop. Thank you very much. And now we angle out the hull. He missed me, but we do have a T-49 coming up to the rear. This is a weird battle, I'm going to be honest. Very, very weird game at that. But I'm going to try and get another shell into this IS-8. He's really trying to test me. There you go. 420 bounce from him. Who else do we have? Well, we got the Panther 2 off to the side, and with that, oh, I really want to get a shell into maybe the T-92E1 or even the T-49 over here, aiming, and kaboom! There you go, 759 damage into the T-49, and he's taken out. So, we still got that IS-8 over here. I don't think he realizes that I'm still in this position, so I'm going to wait. We're going to reload. 3, 2, 1, and now this poor IS-8, well, obviously, because I literally turn his hull into butter, well, let's fire at him in, 800 max roll, too. Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. We're already at 2,700 damage this game, and that's just what the tank's able to do. It's so strong on all the values. So, well, we're not going to worry about that guy anymore. We got the Panther 2 in base, but that guy as well, not really much of a threat. We are going to push, though, because I would like to get out to some more damage. So, let's just get a finishing shell into the Panther. Goodbye, comrade. No more Panther 2. And now we just continue pushing our way on through. I guess that kind of rhymes. But yeah, let's do that right now. We got the T-30 off to the side. And with this T-30 over here, fun fact, you can pen 152 millimeters right on the lower plate. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. 960 damage into him. The ST-1 finishes him off. And what the heck? This is just such an easy game. And that's what this tank can do, easily, too. Like, you notice, this was literally a walk in the park. So, well, we got the ISU left over here. Maybe we can get a nice HE shell into his tank. Aiming, and boom! There you go. 753 into him. And with that, we've easily broken past 3,000. Yeah, 4,764 damage this game. We've taken 0 damage in return, and we are just going to continue on coming up here. Now, I don't know where the enemy T-92E1 went, but I'm hoping that we are going to be able to get a little bit of a sneaky shell into him. Oh, there he is, and hopefully we're not detected. Please don't be. Oh, we're not. Boom! 839 into the T-92E1. And that's the tank. That is what makes this thing so incredible. 5,603 damage. And you can't make these things up. Like, that is just such an easy battle. And you can see where the armor, the gun, everything worked into place here. Even though the gun doesn't have great DPM. Even though the accuracy base is terrible. If you equip this vehicle correctly and you know how to run it, these are the types of games you are capable of pulling out. A 5,603 damage mastery. And this, if you did want to see my loadout, is how I run the vehicle. A lot of people always say, well, why don't you run gun rammer on a vehicle like this? Well, first of all, you're only gaining about 200 DPM. And when you're running a tank like this, I'm not constantly shooting. You noticed in that game there that there was never a moment where I needed that second shell that was so detrimental to my battle. So in this game, yeah, I'd much rather have that high explosive pen. Second of all, the HE pen gave me the ability to penetrate the T-30 in the frontal plate. You could not have done that unless you were running calibrated shells. Another fantastic thing. And of course you get 40 more millimeters of heat pen, so why not, right? Overall, this tank is incredibly enjoyable, and not only do we have that game, but as well, I got a start game that I played today just to show you even more capabilities of this tank, and you thought that 5,700 was impressive. Well, let's see just what we can do in this battle for the WZ-111. So let's just skip a little bit ahead. Now you can see, as I said before, while the top speed is only 36 kilometers per hour, it seems quite quick when you drive it. Like, this does not seem slow at all to me. It always seems like it's just up at top speed. Sure, it's limited to 36, but it's not slow at all. You're easily able to get in the position, and as you'll notice here, I am way ahead of the rest of my team getting into the spots. Now, we are about to go up against vehicles like the Emil-2, the KV-4, although really this wasn't much of a fight. Even though the enemy team was not the best, you're going to see just how easy and literally what I melted their team into. Here we go. We got the KV-4, and let's aim right in on the side of his vehicle. Yeah, what is armor, right? There's 800, 970, 81 damage. Oh my god, that poor guy. But, yep, I guess he messed with this tank, and he learned his lesson. Now, we've already taken about 90% of his health off, but might as well take that little bit of chunk left, right? So there you go, already 1,559 damage in our first 2 shells. Now we've got the Mil-2, the Tiger, and the T-34 Falcon. So what are we going to do now? Well, that Mil-2 obviously isn't going to be able to stand much of a chance here, so let's just get a nice tap. You can see literally with AP, the whole entire turret is butter. Even if he was angling it fully hull down, all I'd have to do is tap that 2 key, and the heat would literally turn him into Swiss cheese, putting holes in him just like it too. So we're at 2,210 damage now, and there's the Tiger 2. That's a Tiger 2's upper plate with standard ammo, not even premium. That's standard. That's a T-34's frontal like mantlet. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind, but you can see just why I find this tank so insane. It turns everything into Swiss cheese. So here we go. I'm aiming at a high explosive shell, and you know, even though this HE shell, I really wanted it to hit that spot. Unfortunately, you can see if we actually fly into where it went, it did not go exactly where I wanted it to. Way short onto the actual, like, not even close to where I was aiming, but either way, it did a pretty solid chunk there. I really, again, you can say I wanted to get that HE out, but I decided, you know what, let's just overmatch the roof. Who cares anyway? 600 damage there, and with that, we're already sitting at 3,867 this battle. Now we have blocked a decent chunk, about 490, but we're not going to bounce that much this game. As I did say before, the armor on this tank is good. It's about 260 millimeters thick, but the Tiger 2's premium has plenty to cut through my armor. Now this shot here was really weird, and I was wondering what the heck happened. Well, it turns out the T-49, if we just fly over and look at my gun barrel really quick, fired an HE shell and managed to hit. I don't actually know where the shell is on my tank right now, but all I'm going to say is the T-49 managed to shoot my gun barrel while I was facing away from him. I don't know how you managed to do that, but the skills are real today, ladies and gentlemen. But let's see now what we can do here. Well, we got the Indian Panzer off to the side. He's a one-shot, so just, yeah, goodbye. Sorry, I had to do it. You're dead. And now we got 2 tanks left, the Object 704 and the T-49. We are currently sitting at 5,000 damage, but as I said, we got to pick up a little bit more. Now, I wasn't sure if this T-49 had left this position. I don't really know what his plan was here, but I saved that HE and 1,095 damage. Oh, the poor guy, the travesties. And he lost even more HP when he shot me. From one single shot, we brought him down to literally 200 health, even less than 200. And well, now we're at 6,049 damage. And all that's left is this, the Object 704. Now we are going to get a nice pen into him here. We're going to wait and then yeet and get a nice snap. And even though I do get taken out, honestly, can I complain? We did 6,663 damage. And that is insane. This is the WZ-111 GFT for you guys. And this is why I suggest, even if you don't want to get the tier 10, the tier 9 and the tier 8 are fantastic tanks. And this literally plays like a tier 10 TD stuck in tier 9. I love it. Probably one of my favorite tanks in the game. And yeah, it's just such a fun vehicle. Hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. Thought I'd do something a little fun, talk about how this tank melts armor. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.